What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV, back at it again with another banger, my friends. Y'all know the vibes by now. Kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So a handful of South Carolina Gamecocks got some love from the SEC for their play this season. Now, we know when players go to South Carolina, Don Staley kind of pitches that, hey, you're not winning Freshman of the Year. We don't do, all the hype about individual accolades. We're about championships and handling business. But several standouts were still honored, and we got to start off with the spark plug of this team, one of the most electrifying guards in the country. That is no other than Malaysia Fulwiley, a.k.a. Laid with the Butter, and she has had the butter all season. She wins 6th Woman of the Year for the SEC. Big time, a couple of Gamecocks have already won the award. Lastly, Camila Cardoso did it, and now Malaysia Fulwiley adds her name to that list as well. The second leading scorer coming off the bench, she has been sensational. On the year, Fulwiley is averaging 11.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 1.7 assists, shooting 41.7% from the field. She is absolutely electrifying and has come up with some big performances in some key games for South Carolina this year. Very deserving. Could start anywhere in the country. Just shows a lot about her character, her willing to stay at a program, come off the bench, and win championships more so than focusing on accolades that are individual awards. But she still earns her rep, and it proves that you can go to South Carolina and be honored as an individual as well as win championships, and she's proven that. People have talked about her needing to transfer, go get her own team where she can get up 20 shots. Obviously, she's happy with her situation, and she is flourishing on both sides of the basketball. She's really gained Don Staley's trust over the last 2 months, more so than any time that she's been there. She's coming in the game early. She's handling the basketball, being counted on to be a number one option. We're seeing her run the offense a little bit. Straight pest on defense, lockdown defender, super explosive, and just continues to develop as a more efficient and well-rounded basketball player on both ends of the floor, man. Stoked for Lay Fulwiley to get that recognition she deserves. We know she'll be a starter next year, and I think could even possibly be in that running for National Player of the Year. But she was incredible this year. Took home 6th Player of the Year. Just a magnificent award for a magnificent player, man. She deserved it. Explosive. Has continued to just fight through adversity. She's dealt with her struggles going to South Carolina over the last 2 seasons. It's been up and down. Some games we see her and getting 20 plus minutes. Some games we barely see her at all, like that UCLA game. But she's stuck with it. She's trusted Don Staley, and I think she has the chance to be the best guard to come through South Carolina, especially at the pro level as well, man. When you talk about there aren't really any true holes in her game, in my opinion. She can do it all. Next up, we got another underclassman getting some love. Joyce Edwards was first team All SEC, bro, as a freshman. We weren't even sure if she was how impactful and how many opportunities, how many reps she would get this year with a loaded front court. Ashlyn Watkins goes down. Joyce Edwards absolutely steps up, leading the team in scoring with 13 points per game, averaging 4.9 rebounds, 1.2 assists, shooting an incredible 55.8% from the field. When you think about, she's out there hitting the mid-range, she's out there doing a lot of damage on the glass, on the block, mobile, non-stop motor on both ends of the basketball. Just a hard worker, man. When Don Staley said that Joyce Edwards would be the best player in women's college hoops one day in college basketball, she was not lying. At 6'3", super mobile, super athletic, can guard the 1 through 5 defensively. Like, great lateral quickness, great footwork, great poise on the block. can handle the ball. Like, we're just seeing her scratch the surface, man. Joyce Edwards is showing us like maybe 20% of what she could possibly be, in my opinion. When you talk about player of the year, when you talk about national freshman of the year, like, she will be in the running for player of the year at some point in her college career in the very near future. National freshman of the year, Sarah Strong may have the award, but she is absolutely in the running as well as far as production, level of competition that she's done it against, and with more limited opportunities than other freshmen that may have bigger numbers, man. But Joyce Edwards has lived up to the hype. ESPN ought to be ashamed of themselves for having her as the 4th freshman in the country ranked coming in, and that's why the number doesn't necessarily matter about what's next to your name. But looking at the players that are on the first team with Joyce Edwards, man, like, most of them, you can safely say, play more minutes than her. Now, her minutes have seen an uptick. She's definitely getting a lot more burn as the season has progressed, and she will be a big part of this potential championship run for South Carolina. But great hands, great footwork, great poise, high IQ. Asia Wilson said that Joyce Edwards, she sees a lot of herself in her, and that she's way ahead of schedule as far as where Asia Wilson was her freshman year. Just understanding the game, attacking, showing what the defense gives. Like, at 18 years old, you can already trust her with the basketball to make really good decisions in crunch time against the biggest and brightest stars in the college game. Like, she has absolutely shined. So salute to Joyce, getting that first team All-American nod. Malaysia Fulwiley also got second team All-SEC, so salute to her for that. Joining her was Tahina Powell, the transfer, who has been an all-conference player every year of her collegiate career, starting at Oregon. So you just gotta salute the consistency. That's tough. That's impressive. On the year, Powell has averaged 10.2 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 45.7% from the field. She was an absolute game changer for the moment she joined the Gamecocks, helping them boost that perimeter scoring, helping them turn the three-point shooting into a strength last year after it cost them a championship the previous year. This season, she's been like a coach on the floor. She is an extension of Don Staley out there, in my opinion, with just controlling the tempo, being the straw that stirs the drink, along with Raven Johnson with this group, being a reliable, consistent player for majority of the season when they needed big buckets, when they needed a spark to get that starting unit going. It was typically Malaysia Fulwiley putting them on the board before the bench came in and straight started smacking heads. But Tahina Powell will go down in South Carolina history, even more so if she is a back-to-back champion by the time she leaves there this year. But she has just been a force at South Carolina, scoring the basketball, assisting, playing defense, being vocal when they have gone through turbulence, when they've gone through tough times. Like, she's been a voice of reason for this young, and it's a nice veteran mix with, some young talent in there. But there are a lot of young players, and she's been a leader for these young players to look up to, and some of these upperclassmen with her as well. She has been a leader that they could rely upon to steer the ship when they're getting wrecked by the storm, man. Tahina Powell's impact at South Carolina cannot be measured with just a box score, man. Just her energy, her positive vibes, her dope personality, her play on the court as well. Like, she has embodied the South Carolina standard since she walked on campus. It feels like Don Staley should have had her freshman year, because she just feels like she's been at South Carolina the way she fit in. It was a perfect plug and play. She was one of the best transfers landed last year, and she's rewarded with another big award with second team All-SEC, so salute to her. Also, rounding out the group, man, Sanaya Fagan, Raven Johnson, shout out to both of them, the upperclassmen, getting the nod for the all-defensive team. Raven Johnson, oh my goodness. When you talk about straps, when you talk about lockdown, sit in chair like defensive stance, you ain't going nowhere. She had one of the most masterclass defensive performances I've ever seen when she locked up Caitlin Clark in the championship game last year, and she picked right back up. Now, I know her offense has suffered some, the assists are a little bit down, but the defense has not wavered, and I think that's been a big reason along with her leadership, along with her experience, and along with her IQ, why she has remained in the starting lineup. Raven Johnson is an absolute player, man, and what she lacks in shooting ability, she makes up for with her IQ, with her court vision, with her timely deliveries, with her speed, with her handle, with her leadership, with her charismatic attitude, just staying positive and upbeat for this team. Like, she always just looks like she's having a great time on the court. And when you throw in the defensive presence, man, like a straight dog on the defensive end, man. Like, Raven Johnson will make things extremely hard for her matchup every single night, and that's going to help her get into the WNBA and I think see the floor for some franchise as a backup point guard. And I'm not trying to cap her, but that's just where I'm seeing it right now. But shout out Raven Johnson for doing her thing and being honored, man. Defense wins championships and deserves to be celebrated. And she's went through a lot of just personal challenges and growth at South Carolina in her time, from injuries to being embarrassed on the national stage when Caitlin Clark treated her like Ben Simmons at the 3 line and waved her off in front of the most watched college game in the country, in the world. Like, she could have easily folded. She got back in the gym and went to work, won a natty, and it was definitely the Raven Johnson revenge tour last season. They're back at it this season with a really good chance to repeat as champions, and Raven Johnson's leadership and poise will definitely be counted on. And then Sanaya Fagan, salute to her, man. She really waited her turn behind a host of WNBA first-round draft picks, and she continued to stick it out. Trust Dawn Staley, wait on her moment, and she's making the most of it this season. The scoring is up. She's rebounding it. She's blocking shots. She's out there running the floor extremely well. She's been that enforcer in the paint for South Carolina all year. We weren't sure who was going to fill that role when Ashlyn Watkins went down with the season-ending injury. But Sanaya Fagan has met in the paint pretty well for this group in majority of their games, and she's honored with the all-defensive nod too as well, her first time. So salute to her and Raven Johnson as well, getting on that all-defensive team, man. Both of them have been really, really beneficial as far as carrying this team defensively, establishing dominance on that end, turning turnovers into transition points on the other end. Love what I'm seeing. I think Sanaya Fagan, her most underrated ability is definitely her passing. She is low-key an elite passer, and I think she will have a WNBA future as well. So shout out to all the Gamecocks getting ready to continue to play ball, man. The individual accolades are dope. I'm glad to see hard work and selflessness being rewarded. They got Tennessee in their first matchup on Friday in the SEC tournament. Should be a good one, man. The last time Tennessee really pushed them to the limit. They're going to play hard. Coach Kim Caldwell, one of the best young coaches in the business, in her first year, already establishing a culture, a win-now culture at Tennessee. We know they're going to bring the depth, the size, the pressure, and they're going to shoot a whole lot of threes. So, South Carolina already beat them, but they definitely need to be ready for tournament Tennessee as well, because they're going to be looking for revenge after last season, for sure. We will have a more breakdown of that game specifically coming out tomorrow. Y'all make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share. Join our memberships. We got exclusive content daily, weekly, whenever you need it. And follow us on social media at Brandon Lee TV. That is a wrap for us. Until next time, my people, we out.